Hello YouTube, it's Manga here, the Hobbies of Man once again, and today I just got back from watching Dragon Ball Super Heroes, I think is what the name of the movie is. And I did some errands after watching the movie, so I've had some time to ruminate. So let's try to make this a snappy video. First, let's start with my connection with the franchise so that you guys kind of know where I'm coming from. And the reality is that I have been a fan of Dragon Ball basically the same way that every other otaku has been a fan of Dragon Ball, as in it was one of the earlier shows that I watched. I remember very distinctly watching Dragon Ball Z Kai on Nickelodeon growing up. I also remember the debates about whether GT was canon or not canon. I remember watching Dragon Ball, the original series, although I watched that one after I first watched Dragon Ball Z, and I watched that one on YouTube back in the days when you could find half of the episode and then have to scour the internet for the other half on YouTube. I remember watching that when I was about 10 years old. I had been I was living in a hotel at the time because we had moved houses and our previous house had sold faster than we had anticipated, and our new house wasn't done yet, so we were living in a hotel for a few months. And I remember that we didn't have, actual cable TV at the time, so I would steal my mom's laptop and I would watch Dragon Ball on that. So that's kind of my, kind of connection with the series. The first manga I ever bought was the first volume of Dragon Ball. And I know a lot about the lore, but I haven't really been like a mega fan of the series in a long time. I don't think I've ever really considered myself a mega fan of the series. I know a lot of the lore, and I understand a lot of the lore behind it, but I don't really know anything about the super timeline, right? I haven't really figured out anything beyond, what is it, Cell? I think I stopped caring about stuff around the Cell saga, which I think that would be it, because if I remember correctly, Dragon Ball Z is Raditz, and then they deal with Frieza, Goku goes Super Saiyan, and then Cell happens after Gohan has become like a teenager, right? So I think I finished watching Cell, and I kind of got into the Android stuff. I don't remember too much, honestly. But the point is that I'm not a mega fan of the series. I have not been in contact with the series in quite a few years. But the movie looked interesting. A lot of people seemed to have enjoyed it. And I didn't really have any expectations. I knew it was going to be CGI, so I wasn't really excited about the idea of watching it because I don't really enjoy CGI anime. But I went because I didn't really have anything to do today, and I decided to just go and see if it was any good. And I was actually really pleasantly surprised. I actually really enjoyed it. Talking about the big elephant in the room, the CGI animation was actually really good. I mean, there was moments where they showed like 2D animation of the story, like in order to kind of establish the connections between the bad guys here and the original bad guys in the original Dragon Ball series, which were the Red Ribbon Army. And a lot of that was really well polished and it looked really good. There was a certain element of, like nostalgia, but also kind of simple beauty in the 2D animation that they showed. And then transitioning into the 3D animation was a little bit jarring, but you quickly get used to it. And once you get used to it, it is very good. I mean, it's a little bit over the top. There's way too many like contour lines for the muscles of every character. And so they look really, really like extra, right? Which isn't necessarily the same thing in 2D animation, but you get used to it, and then it starts to just like look really good, and I really liked it. And I think it worked really well that they introduced the little girl, Gohan's daughter, first, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure that's the earliest scene before they transition into Goku and Vegeta. But introducing her first is good because you get endeared to this cute little girl and don't really worry too much about the animation because it works really well for this little kid. And so you kind of get used to the animation. Piccolo doesn't look all that different. But then the Saiyans, like with their like hyper muscularness, do look, significantly harsher than all the other characters. But they're pretty good. The only character that I would say was like not good in terms of like the CGI animation was Bulma. She just looked like too like CGI compared to everyone else, and I think that's just her outfit. Her outfit wasn't good, but like the model herself, like the way Bulma looked was good. It was Bulma-esque. You know, there wasn't anything wrong with that. It's just the coloring of her outfit made it look really ugly, and then that made like her animation, when she was moving and stuff, look ugly too. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of what that is, right? So overall, the animation was good. The fight scenes were great. There was a lot of fast-paced action to it, to the animation, which is great because a lot of times I felt that the CGI animated TV shows and series somehow feel slow compared to 2D animated, things like the traditional style. Not exactly sure why that is, but it does feel slower, and I think that they managed to do enough tricks with the effects and stuff to make the quickness of the fight still look quick, without it like being hindered by the way that the 3D CGI, like actually moving like people, makes it look kind of slow. So I don't know how to explain that, but it looks fast, and I like that because usually it looks slow. So there we go. I think that kind of cleared that up. So overall, I have goodwill for the series. I ended up enjoying the animation at the end of the day, and the story was actually not that bad. It kind of started a little bit slow. The first kind of 30-40 minutes of the story were really slow because it was a lot of development, and you had to like get to know these characters, right? So they introduced Pam, I think, or Pan, which is Gohan's little daughter, and they introduce her because she is the crux of the situation, right? Because the main character of the story is not really Goku or Vegeta. They're off planet. They're doing something else. The main character, the main hero of the story is Gohan at the end of the day. I mean, technically, I guess Piccolo is the main character because he's the one with the most screen time, but the one that fixes the issue at the end of the day is Gohan, right? So they introduce his daughter as a kind of plot device, and you introduce her and then introduce Piccolo, who's training her, and I thought that the relationship they have is really great. It's really cute. Piccolo has really funky things that he does, like he collects these weird cat plushies, and his phone is like a cat plushie, what's it called, case, and I think it's funny, and he holds his phone like this because he doesn't understand how to handle these things, which is funny. And they give you the backstory of the Cell Saga, the backstory of the Red Ribbon Army, and where all of them come from, and then they establish that Dr. Geno, the android guy, has a grandson, and his grandson is even smarter than he is, and also is interested in biomedical villainy, right? Or biomedical, biotechnological kind of stuff, right? And then the son of the Red Ribbon leader, whose name is Magenta, because of course it is, recruits this guy whose name is Dr. Hito, as in hedonist, I'm guessing. I'm not sure. And he's a 24-year-old chubby guy. He's kind of mean. He kind of reminds me of Gru, which is funny, like from Despicable Me. And he is obsessed with superheroes, specifically like tokusatsu style superheroes, which is cool because that makes sense that, Gohan would be the main character in a tokusatsu movie, because in the original series or in Dragon Ball Z, he was kind of like a tokusatsu hero when he wasn't being a Z warrior, right? So I thought that was fun. And then, Hito and Magenta make their thing, and they make Cell Max, which is a new version of Cell. And they also make two robots, which are called Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. And these guys are basically Power Rangers-esque characters, right? They have little special guns, and they're martial artists, and they're robots. They're androids. They made that distinction very clear. The robots are low tier, androids are top tier, which I'm guessing is that they have biological elements to them. I'm not too sure, honestly. The way that the Toriyama uses those terms isn't exactly the same as how it is in real life, as far as I'm aware. And so they introduced them, and then Vegeta and Goku are off-world. They're training with Beerus and Broly, and they're just, having a fight that, and they can't be reached because they never answer the phone. So they're off-planet. They're not attached to this movie at all. So Piccolo then has to figure out what the heck's going on. He goes in and then realizes that they're going to try to attack Pan in order to get to Gohan. So Piccolo joins their forces for, you know, the capture of Pan, and tells her, you know, what's going to happen. And then from there, you know, there's a big clash, and then there's another clash, and then the climax of the movie, and it was really great, and it was really good, and I really enjoyed it. I actually had a lot of fun. The first act is slow because of all that development that I had to explain, but then after that is a very classic Dragon Ball romp. You know, people show up and they join forces, and there's power-ups also for Piccolo, which is great. And then they defeat the villain. They defeat the villain like usual, right? So there really isn't anything too exciting to talk about here. It's a very classic, standard superhero romp with very fun, you know, over the top visuals at the end of the movie, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I wasn't really expecting much, and I think that's why I got so much mileage out of the movie. But I did really like it at the end of the day, and I'm really happy that I watched it. And I would be willing to watch it again in theaters. I wouldn't mind paying, you know, $10 again to go watch the movie. So I think it was a success, and there really isn't anything wrong with it. The first 30 minutes are kind of slow, like I said, but it really doesn't matter at the end of the day because it's still just a 90-minute movie. It's pretty short, so there really isn't anything bad about the movie. I really enjoyed it. There was a fun little post-credit scene at the end as well, and yeah, there really isn't much else to say. It was a fun experience. I liked it. I definitely recommend you guys go watch it too if you haven't yet, and yeah, let me know what you guys thought of the movie down below, and thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.